Welcome back. Since the last video, we've finally hooked up the ex-RNZAF A-4K flight simulator to DCS. So for the very first time, we're now operating this with an actual Kahu Skyhawk, and we can fire bullets and drop bombs. So I'll show you how I've actually done that. Around the front here, the original setup we had was using an Arduino with a shield on top. That's a temporary layout there, but that worked just fine in 2020. Now, an Arduino is not recognised by Digital Combat Simulator. So what I did there is I used what's called a Leo Bodner card. Now you can use a thing called DCS BIOS, but in this instance I've just chosen to use a Leo Bodner card, which is recognised by DCS as a joystick. So this is the box that I've purchased. I'll need more paint to go on the top there, which is NATO green to match the simulator itself. And with this box here, I've put a backing, which is kind of like a bait-like material. And then I've used standoffs for the Leo Bodner card, so it's sitting above the surface. The card is separated into sections. This is the analog over here. So at this end, we have the flight controls. So we have pitch and roll there, and we also have here the rudder, so that's X, Y and Z axis, or Z if you're in America, and the rudder I'm currently operating off a wheel on the throttle because the rudder pedals are not connected, and then we have the throttle itself here. So that's all analog, and then coming down this end you've got digital going around here, and therefore all the buttons like undercarriage, flaps, etc. are all connected up there. So you can see I've basically got room to put in the Arduino, and you can put all the cabling through ports on either side, which you can punch out. So that makes a nice, neat system. So I'll now show you inside the cockpit, and we'll have a look at how those buttons actually work in DCS. Okay, so we'll have a look at the buttons and dials that I've been using in DCS. I haven't configured all of them yet. But on the far side we have a wheel. I'm currently using that as a rudder control because we don't have functioning rudders in the sim yet, and I'm still working on how to get around that. So by using this wheel, if I rotate it to the right clockwise, that would put the rudder to the right, bringing it back anti-clockwise or left is left rudder. So that enables me to do some steering on the ground. Around the front here we've got the button for the undercarriage. So that's the position there for the undercarriage, and I'm using that because in this position here is where the real undercarriage lever would be. So normally that would be the down position, and you'd pull it back and up for the up position. So by having that close, that kind of makes sense. And then over here we have the flap switch. The actual flap switch is here, but that's non-functioning, and I could make that work later on. So in the interim, I'm using this as the flaps. So pulling it back puts the flaps down, pushing it forward, the flaps will go up. And then down the bottom here is the actual speed brake button in the real aircraft, and I'm using that also for the speed brake in the game. So by pulling it back, the speed brake opens, pushing it forward, you close the speed brake. Just going to swap hands here. We'll go to the right hand on the grip. So because I don't have a top hat for views, I'm using this four-way switch here. So basically up is the cockpit view, down is the view from behind the aircraft, so the exterior view. And there's two other cockpit views I've got plugged in there. One is pushing that to the right. I can look out to the right of the cockpit, and obviously left, looking out the left of the cockpit. Up here is the actual trim switch. So pushing it up is nose down, and then pushing the trim switch down is nose up. So it's the opposite. So around the front we've got the trigger for bullets, and then we've got the pickle button here for dropping bombs. Up on the top right we've got the AP button, and on a temporary measure, because again we don't have rudder pedals with brakes on them, so I'm using that as the brake. So from here we'll have a look at how that works in DCS in the game. So here we are in DCS, flying an RNZAF Skyhawk in the Kahu scheme. See, it's not quite correct because it has the avionics hump in this position here, which the Kahu never had. And but anyway, it's got the serial number there. We've got 04 on the tail, and I'm just going to show you all the buttons and how they work. So we'll deploy the speed brake. So there's the speed brake button and that coming out. Then we'll use the flaps. So I'll deploy those and we should see them coming down. There's the flaps. And we'll lower the undercarriage as well. So just decrease our speed a little bit and we'll pull up. And then we'll be able to deploy the undercarriage. So there's the undercarriage coming down. Undercarriage going away. Flaps up. And speed brake away. So there we go. Now we'll just come around the front and I'll show you basically the deploying the bombs or dropping the bombs. So we're pushing the pickle switch. There you go, all the bombs. Hopefully we didn't kill anyone in the process. So there we go, that is DCS, and for the first time ever, this simulator is now operating a Kahu virtual aircraft within DCS. And so yeah, a bit of a milestone, a bit of an achievement to get to this point. So if you like the video, click the like button, and if you want to see more, come back again. Cheers.